my name is Susana Tran. I'm Vietnamese American. I was born in Massachusetts in the United States, and I was raised in Boston.
I'm Adam Bakshi, and I'm a junior at UMass Boston. I was born in New York City, United States of America, and I was raised for the first 3 years of my life in Buffalo, and the other 19 in Boston, Massachusetts.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Bui. I'm Vietnamese American, and I'm a sophomore management major in Constitution and Accounting.
Hello, so my name is Miho. I identify myself as Vietnamese American.
My name's Manja. I was born here in Massachusetts, and I grew up in Mass my entire life.
So I'm MG Zhang. I use they, them, theirs pronouns. I'm originally from Anchorage, Alaska, and now I live in Boston, going to UMass. And I am a Hmong American.
My name's Sophia Moore. I'm a graduate student here at UMass Boston, majoring in exercise and health sciences. I'm in my first year, second semester of the graduate program, and I am half Asian American.
My name is Lauren Van Veen. I go to UMass Boston. I'm currently a sophomore, and I identify as half Filipino, half Dutch.
So my family and community shaped my being and who I am today by just instilling those the cultural wealth that I feel in being able to navigate different situations and center myself in how much love I have for my sisters and my cousins, especially knowing that they have so much love and beauty for who they are, and so because we share so many identities, that means that I share a lot of that same love and beauty inside myself.
I guess being really family oriented, such as just knowing that I can always rely on my family and taking care of them. That's one way to shape me and who I am as a person. So taking care of others. So I find myself taking care of others because I'm used to taking care of my family members.
I don't know, every time I think of this question, I'm thinking what's the happy result? What is the ending? What is the identity that you want on yourself? But to be honest, I feel like in a way, it's been a battle with my own identity. It's always push and pull, rejection, embracing, and for me, I'm still struggling with that. For my own Asian American identity, sometimes I really hate my name because my name is Miho, but usually people call me Miho, even during graduation, and that kind of makes me feel annoyed because it's do I really have the effort to really tell them that's not my name? And then sometimes I see people who does really amazing work in their community, they kind of embrace their own identity. But for me, as a college student, I'm still trying to figure out who I want to be. Even though I'm almost graduating, I still don't know what I want to do or who I want to be as a person.
My father was a very hard worker, and I feel like that had a lot of influence on me to where I wanted to be as working as he was, to show that I was also work driven and wanted to be successful.
My mom shaped my identity a lot. I grew up with a single mom, and my dad wasn't around. She mostly showed it through her actions a lot. She showed me and influenced me to be a caring person towards people that I like or that I care about deeply. And so I picked up on a lot of her habits in that way.
My parents want me to be, financially stable, to have a really good job, to be something that I'm not. And so I think one thing that I'm ashamed of is not being enough for my parents because their expectations are really high. And so everything I do, I feel like it's not really my decision or my choices of what I want to do. Going to college, I feel like I'm doing it because my parents want me to do it. And so I feel like for me, the shame part as being Asian American is actually following the model minority myth, actually following the stereotypes, which I don't want to do. Because for me, I feel like life is all about trying to figure out who you are as a person and being able to be independent and make your own choices. So I feel like in a way, like, I want to make my family proud, but I feel like in a way shame is not being able to have a relationship that I want with my family. And because of the Asian American stereotypes and because of the mom.
A shame, definitely. Like in middle school, I don't know. I was only friends with like white people, and I don't remember much, but I just remember being really ashamed of that, of like myself. But I probably didn't start to like really embrace it until later on in high school, more so in college.
There was a time when I was younger, I wished I was white. I literally wished I was white when I was like younger. There were times that I did feel ashamed to be Asian because in that sense I would wish that I were white with blonde hair, with blue eyes, to be like, you know, the regular American, because I didn't like being made fun of. And to me, like, I would always see them on TV in the hospitals, at other friends' houses, or wherever, see them constantly being like represented and whatnot. So then I was like, oh, that's what's pretty, that's what's beautiful.
I like it's a very different juxtaposition from when I was a kid to now, because when I was a kid, my family very much focused on assimilation efforts to, cede to the white man and be professional and to kind of hide a lot of our identities. And so growing up, I felt a lot of shame about how traumatic my family history was, and that leading us to live in poverty and not having a lot of access to resources, and there was a lot of shame in that. And so I felt that like internalized racism and internalized assimilation efforts. And now, as I have, grown up and become much more conscious of my privileges and disprivileges, and have the capacity to have these conversations, I really want to learn so much more. Whereas when I was a kid, I shied away from those conversations. But now I would love to go back to Laos, or I've never been to Laos, but go to Laos for the first time and see where my family comes from, and also just have more informational interviews with my family. So like a story that kind of really captures that is when I was a kid, probably in like 3rd or 4th grade, I was inviting friends over for my birthday party, and I was really telling my parents, I was like, we can't cook Hmong food. Like they don't know like what it is. They're gonna think it's gross. And so I was like begging my parents to just get like Costco pizza instead of cooking like homemade food. And so again, like feeling that shame, but now being away from my family and Hmong community, it's like all I want to eat is Hmong food. And so
my impressions about Asia were that it was very beautiful, and also it was very, very different, because the different places that my mother and father had like lived in. My mom lived in a very like rural area, whereas my dad was in more like very urban, very like city-like. So those kind of like differences made me like appreciate like the difference in culture, like even just within Vietnam.
one of the places that I would really want to go is Laos, and specifically the street markets there.
I have visited Asia because I've gone back home to like visit family in India. Impressions of like that was, I didn't really feel any different going back and being like in an Asian setting. It was kind of still just me, just in a new location, because I spoke like the language, I knew like all the cultural significance, so there wasn't like much of me feeling like an outsider there. I do want to travel to like other parts of Asia to like see the different cultures there, but I do feel like there would be like a cultural shock of somewhat, because even though I am from like Asia, they're just like Asia is such a big place and it has like so many different like cultures and different like traditions that going to a place where I'm not used to like the customs would kind of be like nerve-wracking in a sense. But